being world champion. I'm your host, Yingsu, and I'm here today in the studio on the desk, joined by Achilles and Mimi. Welcome back.
Yeah, glad to be back in action. I mean, the stage is sick, this venue is sick, and it's just so good to be here in Turkey with the players for Champs.
Yeah, I haven't been here for a little while, not since last year, but it's a pleasure to be back for Champions once more. And then I can't wait till we fill this arena with screaming fans, because that's something that, while we've had a little bit of LAN action over in Asia, nothing to this scale. So I'm super excited to see these seats filled.
Yeah, and also I know you're excited to see your boys back as well.
Oh, of course.
You're back with DRX. We're going to talk about the teams in due course, but I want to kick things off by some things that you guys might be excited for. I want to know what you're most excited for coming into this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot to be excited about, but I think the biggest thing for me is just that so many of these teams we have seen just recently at Copenhagen, 10 out of 12 of those squads have requalified, but they've had a little bit of time off. Unlike the LCQ squads, they've got that opportunity to prep, come in with new ideas. The meta might have changed. We might have seen some of these switch-ups with new patches coming into the mix, so I'm excited to see kind of our old friends become something new at this event.
And for me, it's about the new faces that are coming into this, because we have EDG joining us. They're able to qualify through the East Asia LCQ. This is going to be their first time playing against widespread international competition. And then during this tournament, they looked absolutely incredible. They went 9-0, did not drop a single map on their road here. And it was just crazy from them, out from the outset.
Yeah, it was absolutely absurd, and this is the first time that we see any Chinese players being able to come out and make it to one of these international events. And I mean, just some of the individuals on this squad have looked absolutely absurd. They look like just a completely coordinated unit. They play a style unlike anyone else.
I mean, at every twist and turn, like, they are very much playing off of each other. They know how to play like a team, even when you get into chaotic moments. Everybody is communicating from the outset.
Yeah, it was absolutely absurd, and this is the first time that we see any
excited about Turkey. Seni seviyorum Turkey. I have to bring up the fact that we finally managed to get to Istanbul. We have a Turkish player in the tournament as well. And Mimi, there's the last world champion, CNED. He was Turkish. It went to him. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Althea can do here.
Yeah, maybe a bit of a run back. And I'm sure for the Turkish fans, it's going to be so exciting to have one of their own here on the stage once they get into this arena. I mean, most of the tickets are already completely sold out. This event is going to be insane once the Turkish fans get into the venue.
Yeah, and I mean, the support that you get when you go and you play in your own region or your own city and whatnot, the fans, they obviously are well aware of that, and they're going to show so much love for him when he walks out. So I think that can also be a little overwhelming at times. So hopefully he's able to just say, like, okay, I'm really excited as well, guys, but stay focused on the game. But it's going to be great to see.
Yeah, and of course, the agents we're going to see as well. It's going to be interesting to see what teams are going to be bringing, because Champions will be played on patch 5.04, which means there's going to be a couple of changes. I think let's start with the one that is now no longer a troll pick, Mimi. Phoenix is viable now.
He's viable, maybe not going to be fully into the meta quite yet, but some of those changes coming through, his flash finding that far shorter duration has made him a little bit more prevalent. We've seen him out of EMEA with Scream playing on this agent. We've seen him some in NA with the LCQ over there, and generally, it's looked pretty solid. He almost acts as kind of a second KO in a lot of these compositions, a self-sufficient flasher that on top of that has a really good ultimate that is constantly recharging. I think it's a really cool pocket pick that we might get to see here at Champs.
Yeah, I was hoping that we were going to get a little bit of that over the East Asia LCQ. Unfortunately, nobody picked it, even though OnSlayers kind of promised in their video that they were going to. So what's up with that, guys? Anyway, I'm excited to see some Phoenix plays, because while I have been watching the other regions, it's been incredible to see.
Yeah, but also Chamber, maybe Achilles, something that's going to be kind of filtered out after what happened to him.
Yeah, I mean, he's undergone a couple of nerfs, to say the very least. The reduced TP length is one of the hardest hitting things about him, because I think, like, economically wise, like, sure, having fewer headhunter bullets in the start of pistol rounds and whatnot, that does suck, but if you are a good sheriff player, you'll still be able to find value with those. Not being able to get to super advantageous positions and then TP out to complete safety, that's where it's really going to hurt Chamber. Talked a little bit to a couple different players who will remain unidentified, and they've said that from what they've been seeing, you're going to see Chamber not as prevalent on every single map. He's still going to be very good in certain places, but expect to see maybe some Killjoy and Cypher replacing him.
Yeah, and I think he gets to the point that we want to see more agents in the Valorant meta where they can be played, but it's not a necessity. For so long, pretty much every team was playing him pretty much all the time. But these changes, I think the biggest hurt points are that early game economy you talked about, and some of those cheeky one-off chamber spots. You can't play that anymore. It's a lot more difficult to set up in those crazy off angles, even when you are playing that jet, now that that dash needs to be activated. So I think the agent is a little bit more punishable now, which is it's a great change to see.
About time.
Yeah.
And a lot of you I know in chat right now is going to be asking, are we going to see Pearl? Is Pearl going to be played at Champions? What I can tell you is that Pearl is in the competitive map pool. Unfortunately, Mimi, we had to say goodbye to Split.
Yeah, I don't know if it's really all that unfortunate, but it is good to see Pearl in the mix. This map has been absolutely awesome to watch in some smaller tournaments and to kind of play in ranked. There's a lot of potential. It has an identity that's different than a lot of other maps. It's very much like there's no set gimmick, there's no door, there's no rope, there's nothing like that, but there's ramps everywhere, so it's a little bit hard to get that perfect crosshair placement, and there's a really heavy emphasis on the mid control.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see, like, if teams do finally bring this out, like, how are they going to approach this one tactically? Because the map is just so massive. There's so many different spots to cover. So teamwork, I think, is going to have to be through the roof. Also, God knows, like, what's it's going to look like when we start seeing, like, post-plant setups, really, for this map at the professional level. I've already seen people diving into it when the map was released, and they found some pretty wild ones. So I'm excited to see what the pros can do if they bring it out. Because for the LCQ teams in particular, it's a big question of will they leave that open, because they didn't have nearly as much time to scrim on this.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see the comms for sure. We talk about new map, but also we have a few new faces, new players here at Istanbul, some players who have never attended international tournaments before. I'm going to start with a face from EMEA. I'm sure you guys expected this, but Demasik is coming in for Team Liquid. To EMEA fans, Demasik has been a player that's been around for a very, very long time. One of the first players to get picked up as well back during the beta when everything was coming out. He stood in for Team Liquid at LCQ. They looked really, really good, Mimi. It's just about whether he could do it on that stage.
Yeah, I mean, this guy has been really solid in his history. You may remember him from kind of his stint with FPX, and for his role in Team Liquid, he's kind of coming in as a pretty solid flex. I think Team Liquid for a while was having kind of an issue with identity, and he's fixed that for them.
For me, it's all about Kong Kong here from EDG. Yes, that is how you say his name, just in case you weren't aware. He is just absolutely insane. We saw him primarily playing, I mean, basically nothing but Chamber during that event, so I'm really curious to see if he's going to go back to his roots where he used to be a bit of a jet main, and what they're going to change up to really enable him. Because I think that if you want to just continue to force the Chamber, he is somebody that can absolutely get away with it on any map and continue to find value. But if he wants to change up, I'm also excited for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And coming out of North America, we have Derek. This guy was absolutely on fire in the NALCQ. By the numbers, he was the best clutcher of that event. And if you compared him to the Copenhagen teams, he was like the second best clutcher in that event as well if he had been there. This guy is absurd as an individual, and the role that he plays for 100 Thieves is super impactful. On that initiator, he's setting his squad up for success, giving his stars in Asuna those big moments. And 100 Thieves is just going to be such an exciting squad to watch, because it's not just him. Every one of these players is really kind of stepping up. Their supportive line is unparalleled, and Derek is the biggest part of that.
Yeah, I remember hearing about his performance. I woke up, saw all of this stuff on Twitter about Derek's performance in the LCQ, and I was like, okay, I have to tune into this. And it was just one of the craziest hard carry performances that I've seen in quite some time. It was shades of Xiao from FPX with his hard carry performances that we saw at Copenhagen.
Well, in 2 weeks and a half time, we'll be crowning our second ever VCT champion, but it is a long road to go for these 16 teams. Before that, here is the one and only Pansy with a quick explainer of the Champions format.
History books have a finite amount of pages. FPX has done it!
VALORANT Champions is kicking off on August 31st. Here's what you need to know before the tournament begins. Champions is the global finale of the 2022 VCT. 16 of the world's best teams will meet in Istanbul to compete for the title of VALORANT World Champion.
This is a style of gameplay that I don't know how to cast.
Teams attending the event earn their spots through winning certain major events or collecting the highest number of circuit points within their regions. The tournament will see representatives from North America, EMEA, Korea, Japan, Southeast Asia, Brazil, and Latin America.
I think I've just got it! What is that?
Taking place from August 31st through September 18th, champions will begin with a group play, followed by an 8-team double elimination bracket. All matches will be best of 3, with the exception of the lower and grand finals, which will be both best of 5. First, qualified teams will be sorted into 4 random groups. Each group will play through a 4-team double elimination bracket with 2 teams emerging from each of the 4 groups. Those 8 teams will then be randomly placed into a double elimination bracket, with teams from the same group being placed on opposite sides of the bracket. Teams will play through each round of the bracket until a single team remains, earning the title of VALORANT World Champion. To learn more about champions, check out VALORANTesports.com and follow our socials for further updates. Good luck to all the competitors, and we'll see you in Istanbul.
As explained by Pansy there, we have 16 teams here. They're going to go through a group stage and then playoffs, which will be double elimination. Let's take a look at our groups, because I think this is one of the most exciting tournaments just based on the strength of each group. Kilios, you know, I'm going to let you run through Group A here. I know you wanted to talk about this.
Yes, a lot of people might have thought, okay, I'm going to go for Group D. That's where DRX is. No, I am so excited about Group A specifically because of PaperX and EDG. This is our opening series. It is going to be absolutely chaotic. Pure, unadulterated madness on the lobby. These 2 teams are basically going to run at each other, and it's all about who can just keep fighting back. I think it's going to be a battle of stamina, and I cannot wait to see those guys just square off.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely exciting. Group D is the one catching my attention. This one has 3 big squads that I think a lot of people would expect to get out of the groups in another world. Fnatic, great placement at the previous event. DRX as well, doing well at Copenhagen. Those 2 squads have found so much consistency and only continued to improve. 100 Thieves, we talked about them a little bit. It's that new squad out of North America, a new roster, finally back at an international event. And Furia, a big unknown quantity in Group D.
I mean, Group C's got the reigning champions, but I want to make you guys look at Group B here. Take your eyes over there, because we have the 3 1, 2, and 3rd finish from Reykjavik. Zeta is bad. They're going to be getting their rematch against Loud. Optic, of course. They're going to have a lot to prove. And Boom as well, a complete new team that nobody is really quite right where to put them. So I think all of these groups are very, very well balanced. I honestly can't even tell you guys who I think is going to be making playoffs. I feel like every time I make a prediction about playoffs is wrong anyway. My pick'ems are in tatters.
It can't be worse than me. I think in Copenhagen, my record was just abysmal.
Have you always predicted DRX to win?
DRX fanboy right over here.
Just permanently?
So, you know, it is what it is. At this point, you just kind of own it. It's just my identity.
It's a personality trait.
I respect that. Speaking of predictions, let's talk about the ultimate prediction, I think. The tournament winner, the champion of champions. Mimi, I'm going to come to you first. Who are you backing for this tournament?
I've been back and forth on this one. I have been thinking long and hard, and there's been 2 teams that have been on my mind. One of them has been Optic Gaming, North America. They were great. They won Masters 1. They did well at Masters 2. The other one is a new team. It's EDG. It's a team that's coming in. They have so much potential, but in the end, reason won out over my heart, and I have to pick Optic Gaming to come on through. They've been so consistent. They're such a good team at the improvement, so they're my prediction to win it.
Okay, that's actually a really sensible choice, which I'm sure you also went with a really sensible choice, right?
Yeah, of course.
Go on.
You know, okay, it's DRX. You know what? At some point, I'm going to be right. They will win eventually.
It's got to happen.
And I will have been there from the beginning. I will have my Kobe LCS moment. I never doubted them. I always believed in them. They'll get over the finish line. I just hope it's at this event.
No one remembers the entire 2 years where you predicted them, and it never worked out. They only remember the one time you got it right.
Exactly.
I feel like I've taken a little bit from both of you. I've gone with the, the sensible choice, and also just where my heart lies, which is PaperX. I think this is the 3rd time in a row that I predicted PaperX, so third time's a charm,
You're
3rd time
me.
lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Repeating it until it
Next
happens.
year, this time, I'm going to be literally where you're sat right now. But yeah, PaperX for me. If you guys at home want to join in on the conversation, or just tweet at us on what you think about our predictions, whatever you see during the event, make sure to use the hashtag VALORANT Champions and hashtag VCT, and we will be featuring some of our favorite tweets on the broadcast of right here. But before that, we want you guys to go and make a prediction as well. We've made ours. We want to know what you think, and here is the poll for today. Which region will take it all? EMEA, NA, Asia, or South America? Scan the QR code right now on your screen to cast your vote, and we'll come back to this and see what you guys have voted. But I feel like maybe South America take this one. I feel like out of the poll.
You can't predict EMEA and then go and change that and like side with the fans. It's like, I mean, I think South America could win the poll, but I also think EMEA is going to win the event. But I also think
No, I'm realistic. I know they're going to win the poll.
If you play all the sides, if you're like a die, you have all these different dimensions to you. You can't be wrong.
I I like that.
But Fraser.
I like that. But for now, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, we're going to be breaking down the first match of VALORANT Champions. It's PaperX versus Edward Gaming. You don't want to miss this one. Welcome back to VALORANT Champions. We honestly could not have asked for a better way to start off this event. We're going to kick things off with a giga banger. It is PaperX versus Edward Gaming. Let's start with PaperX, because I think after what happened in the last tournament, this is now a household name, Mimi. This is a very beloved fan favorite team.
Yeah, this is a team that a lot of people know, and that's because they've been on this upward trajectory for quite a while. They come into this year place solidly at Iceland. They come back into Copenhagen. They're into second place at that event. Now they've made it back again, requalified into champions. It feels like the only direction for that trajectory is to continue upward.
Yeah, they've just been incredible. I mean, you know, it was very close, but no cigar for them versus FPX. They played a really, really tight grand final. But they continue to persevere. They continue to be hungry for the win. And I think that that perseverance is one of the best things that you can have as a team. You're not going to get knocked back. You're going to stay motivated. You're always going to come into a tournament and give it your all.
Yeah, I think the mentality for this team is really lovely because even in loss, even when they're not feeling it right, they're still just having fun. They are friends before they are teammates. And you can see that in the way they play, in the walkouts, in the comms. They're always just trying to have fun, keep each other uplifted. And I think just that super positive mentality around that team helps them to continue to find these great placements.
I really didn't want to watch that breeze back again. It's
Heartbreaking.
such a heartbreaking way for them to go out. But Achilles, I think one of the things that everybody looked towards after the last tournament is Jing.
Yeah.
This has got to be one of the best players in the world right now.
Oh, he absolutely is. And, you know, you look at before, you know, pre-Copenhagen, before they get that second place finish, a lot of people were saying, like, Jing is definitely within the top 10. This guy's an incredible entry. His raise plays are absolutely phenomenal. After that tournament, I think you have to narrow it down, top 3 player in the world.
I'm going to narrow it further. I think he's the best dive player that we have playing at the global stage right now for the VCT. The way that this guy plays on the raise in particular is incredible, and the coordination with the team is great. For a long time, we defined them by kind of the duo, Forsaken and Jing, but at Copenhagen, it really was this guy taking that starring role. He creates so much space for his squad, but in doing so, he's never overheating. He's never going too deep.
I've always, looking at raise players, been like, I feel like this person just, they're so good, but they're not quite as good as Bunny was when he was on his prime at F4Q. Bunny was always kind of like the de facto raise player. I think Jing might be the person who finally has taken up the mantle. He's just so incredible. His movement is incredibly clean. Just lay down. He's the best race player in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about Jing being the dive player, but can he be out-dived, Achilles? Is EDG the team that can out-Jing Jing?
Possibly. Possibly. That's about as close as I can get because EDG kind of toes the line. I would say they're somewhere in between DRX and PRX. Their aggression is so similar to PRX, but they also play together like a team, and they don't have to necessarily rely on one person to hard carry, much like DRX. It's often a bit of a team shared effort when they do get wins.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when they look at this team for the first time, they're just like, this is crazy. This is like nothing we've ever seen before. And it is, but there's so much sense to it. In their aggression, it's super well coordinated.
Yeah.
It's super well put together. We haven't seen them before at an international event, but in their own region, they have been grinding away, working together for so long to make it to this point. And that coordination really shows.
I mean, I think this is why everybody's really hyped about this team, right? Because the unique style they're bringing.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people would say, like, okay, it's very much like PRX, but I think if you paid attention to Chinese esports in general, you know that aggression just kind of naturally comes forward when they play games. I think that if you had a world where PRX didn't exist, we would probably still see EDG play very similarly to the way they are right now. This is just basically in their blood, is how they like to play.
Mimi, do you feel like EDG do have a chance to get out of this group? Because it's looking pretty tough if you look at on the other side of Liquid and Leviathan as well.
I think it is a really difficult group. I think I'd say it's the most difficult group that we have here in the event. But this team comes in with just so much kind of mystery around them. Their teams are really only playing this style for the very first time in scrims against EDG. I think they're really tough to predict, and in that, I think there's always a great upset potential when you put that in with the insane individual skill these guys have.
Well, earlier, Mimi and I had a chat with Kankan and Nobody on their journey to champions so far. Take a look. That's right, I'm now joined by Mimi and two players from EDG, Nobody and Kankan. Hi guys, welcome to Champions, welcome to Turkey. You guys are the first Chinese players to make it to this international tournament. And I wanted to ask you, do you feel any pressure given that you're making your debut on such a big stage? 你好 Kankan， 你好 Nobody， 欢迎来到土耳其。我想问问你们两个人，你们是唯一第一个来自中国的职业选手，来自这么一个世界的大舞台，你们觉得有没有一点压力啊？是因为你们第一次在国外比赛，是在来 Champions 的地方比赛。我跟你才开始。
对我觉得我们应该会有一点压力，因为我们从 LCQ 打出来，然后可能我们也是唯一的一支中国战队，然后可能外界很多眼光都在看我们，就是还有很多人对我们的期望会很高，对吧？然后我们第一场又是打到 PR 叉，就是在上个比赛拿到好成绩的队伍，所以说我们都会有一点压力。
Okay, Nobody said that they do feel a little bit of pressure because they were the only Chinese team at the East Asia LCQ. When they did so well, everybody is watching them. Everybody saw that they did so well. So people have expectations of them coming into this. And not only that, they're playing Paper X first. And Paper X were an amazing team back at Copenhagen. So there's a little bit of pressure. But I also want to see if Kankan feel the same way. 你觉得有压力吗？
我唯一给我带来压力，可能就是第一次线下可能会有压力吧，但其他给我的感觉就是还好，就没有让我感觉其他那些选手啊能够给我带来很大的压力。就从目前来看吧，就是他们不能够完全粉碎我的意志的那种感觉，所以说我并没有觉得特别大的压力，只要我们做好我们的，我们就能行。
Kankan says that he feels a little bit of pressure in case that there might be some nerves on the day, but he doesn't think that any teams and players here are going to be doing too much to challenge him, to actually make him feel like he's under pressure, because he has a lot of self-belief in himself and in the team as well. And Mimi, I think that's what we kind of expected Kankan to say.
Yeah, the confidence is everything for this team. And Kankan, for you, your style that you guys play, it has so much inherent risk. And it worked so well for you guys at that East Asia LCQ, running down pretty much everyone in that tournament. But now here on an international stage with so many fantastic teams, do you think that same style will be able to match up?
秘密想问你，你们打的游戏的那个风格是很狂的、很疯的，在亚洲的时候，这个是很顺利的一个风格，别人不知道怎么对付你。但是你来到 Champions 以后，在国外的欧洲、美国的这种对上，你觉得这个计划还是能成功的计划吗？
我觉得应该是能够成功的，但是他们可能会反应的更激烈一点。就比如说我们在亚洲打 LCQ 的时候，他们可能没有及时的去处理，及时的去处置我们当时做的很多东西。但是可能欧洲、美国的玩家，他们那些选手，他们可能会做得更好在这些上面。所以说，但是我觉得还是有作用的，因为可能。虽然说战术上面、游戏理解上面可能不如他们，但是我觉得我们的枪法上面也跟他们差不多了。
He said back in Asia, when they were playing the style that they were playing, it was difficult for other teams to kind of stop them. They didn't quite know how to play against this. But when he's going to go up against teams in Europe and North America, he feels like maybe they have more experience. They might have an answer for them. But when it comes to firepower, they feel like they're pretty much equal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, not only, Nobody, is this your first tournament where you guys are playing outside of your home region, but it's also your first time getting practice outside of Asia and being able to scrim international teams. How have you found the practice thus far here at Istanbul?
这个问题是给你的，Nobody， 你们也是第一次出国训练的，不是第一次出国比赛，还有训练的。你们训练的怎么样啊？哪个队你们在一起在训练？你觉得国外的队是怎么样的打法的？
我们有打过 Optic 和 Xset， 然后我个人觉得就是在我们快的这种打法打到他们队的时候，他们会比较有应对的方案，就不会像可能亚洲队有的时候来不及应对我们这种快的打法。所以说，我觉得我们来到这个冠军赛，我们需要在打法上更加的多变一点，我们不能一直打我们快的节奏。
你们已经找到了怎么对付那样的地方吗？怎么变的地方？
对，
找到了。哦，很好很好。He said they've scrimmed Optic, they've scrimmed Exit. They found that when they're playing that fast-paced, like crazy style, Optic and Exit clearly have a plan. They know what to do against that. They realize now they have to change, they have to evolve a little bit. But the good news is they found the answer. They know exactly what the next evolution of their team is going to be. I'm a bit scared, Mimi. Like this team getting even better, I think is going to be a bit crazy. But thank you, Mimi. I love the questions. 谢谢康康，谢谢 Nobody. Thank you for joining us. And we're going to throw this back to you guys. Well, they scrimmed the NA teams, Achilles. They admitted they scrimmed Optic and Exit, and they found that the NA teams had actually more answers for them than the East Asia ones.
Well, the thing that gives me some faith is that they said that we have figured out the next stage of evolution. We have determined the future of this squad and what they're going to be running. And I think that they can really react quickly, make these micro adjustments because the team plays so well together. So if they make something happen on a macro level, I think they'll be able to really manage it individually incredibly well.
And I think that is one of the advantages you come out of playing in a region like East Asia, where there's not a huge amount of competition that is really testing them. You don't have to show quite as much as some of the other kind of regions where the competition is maybe a little bit closer. So they can come into this event with new ideas, with new prep, and be showing them for the very first time in their matches.
I can't wait to see it. There's going to be a lot of W gaming going on today, guys.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be going very, very fast. So I'm going to let you have a break, gather yourself a little bit. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about Paper X and EDG. Welcome back, everybody. Before the break, we asked you which region do you think will be taking the Champions trophy. The results are now in, and I can now reveal that you guys over on Twitter, the big brain analysts over there on Twitter, voted for many guesses. Oh, Asia!
Hey!
Wow!
I'm happy.
Go.
I'm happy from Achilles' pure joy at that reaction. It's going to be so exciting. I think what makes the Asian region awesome is you have so many different teams with so many different styles, and that's what we're going to have on display in this game. You look at EDG, you look at Paper X, and they look similar, but they have such different ideas.
I mean, the representation is growing, and now you've got EDG here, you've got Boom representing Indonesia as well, so there's just so many, teams over there in Asia that are excited, or players, you know.
Well, these teams have come over here to Istanbul with one goal in their mind, to win the title and take home the trophy. Without further ado, it's time to kick off our event. Day 1 of Champions starts right here.
Abi şu adamı. Beyler hadi hazır mıyız? Haydi haydi. Abi saydı smoklayın. Smoklayın abi saydı. Vurun abi şu adamı. Adam spike kurdu ya.
Tarık. Oğlum kaç kere söyledim sana bu saatte oyun oynama diye?
Pardon baba ya. Şu maçım bitsin yatacağım söz veriyorum.
Peki. Bu maçı bitir sonra doğru yatağa.
Hadi beyler hazır mıyız? Haydi haydi.
Quer ouvir uma história de fantasma? É sério. Muitos anos atrás, todo mundo estava encoberto pela escuridão. Havia uma serpente. E ela se chamava Boiguaçu. E essa serpente caçava animais. Devorava todos os seus olhos. E a cada par que consumia, seu corpo cada vez mais se tornava mais brilhante. Até que um dia, acabou pegando fogo. E até hoje, seu espírito percorre toda a floresta, em forma de olhos flamejantes. Nós o chamamos de espírito Boitatá.
Então, a moral da história é não comandei mais.
Meu Deus, é o Boitatá, hein?
Yo, have you seen Pujon?
Yeah, over there.
Yo, you good, bro?
I just thought I saw someone I knew.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
What a way to kick off day one. Sassy's acting, I gotta say. I think he has a really long career in acting if he decides to retire from Valorant.
Yeah, that was great. Overall, I think everybody, for the most part, was doing a fantastic job there. So really pleasantly surprised to see that.
I'm surprised by Artis's reaction to the spike throws. He just doesn't care. The man's just chilling out.
FNS in the club as well. Just a gold FNS in the club.
He's just a rock.
Yeah.
Just having fun.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, I absolutely love the videos here. I mean, if you guys actually thought that was hype, if your hype level is already at a critical mass, I suggest that you might want to take a seat for this one because it is time to activate the champion stage.
Paper X. Edward Gaming. Leviathan. Team Liquid.
It's just a group.
What a good looking stage and a good looking group as well. Let's jump straight into the map select for this matchup. Achilleos, there's a lot that both of these teams can go there. Both of them have a pretty good map pool.
Yeah, they really do. There's only a couple weaknesses coming into this from the side of EDG that you would say, you know, Haven, probably one of the biggest ones that they would often ban away. But now that you have Pearl there and they have limited opportunities to practice on it, do they take it away? No, they're actually going to ban Bind.
And I mean, that's been such a great map for Paper X, so it's pretty unsurprising that they do get rid of that one. I'm interested what PRX banned because they used to perma split. Instead, they'll get rid of Fracture in this one, which is interesting. It's a great map for them, but same to be said of EDG.
Yeah.
Go by all means. I was just gonna say, like, this was an incredible map for them.
Oh, baby! We got Pooh!
Forget
It's
everything.
gonna be amazing. I mean, what? How can you even prepare for this one? EDG go in and pick it out the gate. Their first international event ever, and Pearl is their first map.
This is insane. This is absolutely crazy. We were
It's so
talking about
EDG.
it in the lead up to this. Pearl's available, LCQ teams, limited time to scrim and prep this map. EDG say screw it. We are so confident in our abilities. We've played this as much as we possibly can, and we think it's good enough.
I mean, it'd be interesting to see what Paper X respond with here after seeing Pearl being picked right off the bat. Of course, Fracture and Bind are gone here, and it looks like it is going to be the Icebox.
Yeah, Icebox is a bit of an interesting one for this team. They kind of showed some like back and forth on it back at Copenhagen, but they'll pick into it here. For EDG, it's a map that they're willing to play, but I've never really been super impressed on, so I think they are quite favored there.
As far as their win rates are considered, granted, they don't have that many plays, on all these maps, so it's a fairly limited pool, but they have a 73% win rate on Icebox. If I'm Paper Rex, Haven's available. That's something that right now, EDG, they're on a 55% win record. That's 18 wins, 15 losses. I would have gone for that.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because that map, the compositions that EDG run, it felt a little outdated from what other teams are playing. Again, they're very willing to define their own meta, but a bit curious not to see that. Ascent will go away. Copenhagen, that was an excellent map for PRX. So again, it is a little strange that Haven doesn't get gotten rid of there for EDG though.
That's the thing that's so puzzling to me, because when EDG played versus Onslayers in the grand final, they also banned Ascent away from them because Onslayers was very good on that map. So they're willing to take that out of the pool if they think that their opponents are strong there. And then PRX just go for the breeze. So it's another strong pick for EDG eliminate. But
we got Haven.
It's Haven. It's the last map. And this is not what I would have anticipated at all.
It does make me really happy to see Paper X banning away the breeze there. I think when you're going up against a team that can be a bit of an unknown quantity, it's really good to get rid of that map. It's one where the individuals really do kind of thrive there. So getting rid of that one, heading to Haven instead, this is a map where Paper X can put a lot more into the preparation time. They've shown us quite a few different ideas and compositions around this map. So kind of a mystery for both these teams. And in particular, why is EDG leaving this open?
I feel like they have to have developed something. They talked about that next stage of the team's evolution, trying out new things. I feel like they have to have something new prepared for Haven that completely changes their previous playstyle in order to warrant this being left open.
Yeah, absolutely. I think overall with this pool, Pearl is that first map. I'd imagine that, I mean, first of all, it's just absurd that that's where we start. But I'm just wondering, what does Paper X pull out here? Because they've always been a team that's willing to be that kind of meta innovator, try things out. Even if they don't quite work, they'll make an attempt at it. And I don't see that one coming, but possible? Sure.
We will see. We will see. We're going to take a quick break here so you guys can cool down a little bit from the fact that we're going to be seeing Pearl right after this. But stick with us. Like I said, we're going to go straight to Pearl after this. welcome back to VALORANT Champions Istanbul. We are set for our first match of the tournament. It's time to meet the players from PaperX and EDG.
Show. Jing. Kong. Forsaken. Howdong. Dubai. Nobody. Mind Freak. Smoggy. Ben Kai. After. Alex.
It's the runners-up from Copenhagen versus the highly anticipated new kids on the block on stage right here. We honestly could not have asked for a better start at VALORANT Champions, but I do want to address, as you guys saw on the walkout, Smoggy, the substitute for EDG, is coming in for Life. Life is not feeling very well right now, so they decided to put in the substitute for this game. And Achilles and Mimi, this is a huge change.
Yeah, it is going to be a tough change to make, and I'm sure very short notice. Unfortunate for EDG, but Pearl, that's our map #1, and it's going to be really interesting because we've never seen this map played yet at this level. And we've already heard, I mean, EDG, they were saying in interviews that at least for Kong, he's going to be playing an agent that he's never played before. I'm expecting something crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this is certainly something that we didn't anticipate at all, but hopefully this isn't going to be too detrimental for EDG. They like to play with confidence. If anything else, Kong, he knows how to keep everybody jazzed up. If he can keep everyone very much hyper-focused into this, there's a chance that they could come out and be victorious. Life and Smoggy, they both kind of overlap a little bit. Smoggy's most played is Jet historically. Granted, he has not played really any games officially within the last 90 days. It's something around 10 maps that he has been played on, but he has been taking a very flexible role, showing things like Fade, KO, Chamber as well.
I mean, adding on to your point, Mimi, in terms of Kong saying that he's going to play a brand new agent, to give some context, it's basically not Jet, Chamber, Raze, or Yoru.
Yeah,
so just not those four.
Yeah, you'd expect something fresh. It's going to be interesting to see what that is. But I want to talk a little bit about kind of expectations for what we're going to see out of these teams on Pearl. I think from what I've heard and kind of thought about thus far, there's been two solutions. One is you go Neon heavy on this map, you play that Viper, you go in that standard. The other direction, I think, is stick with the Fade Raze. It's been really prevalent in this meta. Bring the Astra out. Her global utility on this map is awesome. And I think we're probably going to see two different solutions from both these teams.
Yeah, we're into the Prime Gaming agent select, and Jing is locking that Raze. We have the Viper on one side and I guess a Fade coming in for the other. We do. And Kong is playing Chamber. He lied to us. He lied to us.
At least for now.
There's a chance. I can't trust him.
There's a chance we see it later, but he's going to be sticking with the Chamber. I wonder if this is a product of them not having Life in. Maybe the plan was for him to be playing something a little bit different, but because of the fairly last-minute substitution, that just sends him back over to the Chamber.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think the B side of this map is really tough without the Sage, and it's not going to be brought out. For PaperX, they do have that Sage in the mix. I think this map will play similarly to Icebox's B site over there, so it's great to have Devi on that role. Fade Raze as well, that's kind of what I was expecting most teams to go with. They have the Astra as well. There's a lot of awesome combo potential with this composition.
I mean, they decided to stick with what they're good at. Forsaken on the Chamber, Jing on the Raze, Mind Freak on the Astra. This is kind of the composition that the agents they were playing, Achilles, that got them to the grand finals of Copenhagen.
Yeah, it's a curious thing. I would love to say this is how I think this is going to play out. This is what the focus is going to be. It was so difficult to say, just given that we have never seen this map, and I'm so excited to have its world debut in competitive play.
And it should be noted, PaperX decided to start on the attacking side of this map. Thus far, I think we've seen it generally be a little bit stronger over on the defense for a lot of teams. So that tells me they have something special prepped on up with these executes, with that raise in the fade going on in. It's a heavy initiator composition, and as always for this team, it's heavy on Jin.
I can't wait to get into this one, and it's time to pitch this over to your casters. Ah, you gotta be joking me. It's Sideshow and Bren.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to be saying that time and time again over the course of this entire series to kick things off at Champions 2022. This is it, Josh. The culmination of the entire VCT year starts here today. And PaperX and Ever Gaming, what a matchup we've got here to really just kick things off.
You couldn't ask for anything more exciting. The debut match of Champions. You've got the debut of Pearl happening here as well.
Yeah.
The debut of Edward Gaming. There's so much new stuff to dig into right now. And all of it mixed up with Smoggy coming into the mix as well. And starting things off, I mean, we're already 5 seconds into the pistol round, and PaperX looking like they want to send things fairly quickly over towards A.
Yeah, make no mistake about it already. See the Prowler, the Boombot all being sent into the A side, but that Viper Orb just stopping them in their tracks for but a moment at a late lurk through into mid. Making sure that space is still gained as well. You can see it's going for a bit of a split now into Art. Held down for the time being. But the players up close and personal. Yeah, this is going to be a battle being taken. Smoggy, you're getting 3 in the mix. That is just unheard of. They've already locked down just the one extremity. There will not be a spike being planted, not just yet. Left down to Benkai. That 1v3.
He's worried about a flank, but flanks on Pearl are so difficult. It's a long, long way to push all the way down mid or out from B and come behind. But Benkai's just cutting noise here as well, trying to make the defenders to spread out a little bit on the map. Already though, what a round from Smoggy, coming in as the substitute. Picking off 3 with a ghost to start. You can tell EDG have got the talent. Here comes Benkai, gonna have to take a duel against nobody to cross this angle.
I was aware that there was a player ready and waiting, a bit of a noise bait. But only around 20 seconds to work with in the round.
And nobody's gone back to check A, and it's just left this angle through A link.
There's enough chaos that's been sown. You're right, Josh. So
10
many
seconds
openings
though.
here. It all comes down to this fight that might be about to be taken.
He's got players all over him, and the reposition from nobody, it's so clean. The ghost headshots coming through there for EDG, and setting them off amazingly to start things out in Champions. This is a team, Bren, that no one really knows what to expect. You've got to think PaperX are massive favourites in the match overall. You know, PaperX are our second place team from Copenhagen. They're always better at every event, world-class team. And EDG, yeah, they stomped the East Asia LCQ, and they clearly have talented players, but there's just still so many question marks, so much mystery. And that will calm the nerves a little bit.
Yeah, that pistol win sets them off on a beautiful start. You consider the circumstances. A little util combo. You can see that was a seize into the fragment. Off to the side to see if they could catch out one of the players.
And also that Smoggy involved with it too. They're getting kind of involved in these set plays. Clearly hasn't pushed away their preparation too much to begin with.
Players cutting up the angles though. It's PaperX who are taking names, taking weapons as well, working their way into that alleyway. They are contained though. Bit of damage being done. Pulled apart, it feels like, in that middle area because they know exactly where the positioning is. And even with the Spectre in his hands, okay, he needs to watch for that. He heard, obviously, that rendezvous in play. Forsaken ended up teleporting right to the top side of things. He does have the spike in his hand as well, so...
He's going to get a free plant here for sure.
Will be.
But Forsaken, I just don't see a way that he's going to be able to win this. 0 bullets in the Headhunter.
This is intriguing.
He has to push deep here. He's in a 1v2 where he has no clutch potential due to only having a classic. So being able to get the jump on somebody here and find a timing on an A anchor would make this round winnable. Unfortunately for him, there's nobody anywhere close. Look at the positioning of Chishu and nobody.
Left.
They're miles away, just ready to pounce in the post plant. And I think this is smart from EDG, not allowing him to get those free 1v1s.
It's not really a safe plant position either. Onto the B side, you can see all the noise that he's making. That's a cleanup.
And both rounds have ended in the same way, with nobody pushing into a clever position, allowing the player to get the plant off and clutching it out. These EDG players are not just all aim, no brain. No. That would be such an unfair characterization of this team. Nobody in particular has been extremely impressive when I've been watching him in terms of how he positions himself. And how he takes fights.
And I couldn't agree more with that.
Oh, and there's Kang. Definitely most excitable player on the team, getting into it already and picking up an operator.
Up close position there. Into the pocket, has to be cleared out with the Prowler. It's not going to spot him out. Off to the side, this angle, it needs to be watched for. Just a little sidestep. Now to Util. Slaw being sent through, a bit of a jiggle peek, but that was a jump peek from Forsaken.
He's so aggressive.
Shot still being found, and yeah, Kang is going to be unrelenting with the positionings that he's taking. He's going to make sure that he's punishing you. You don't expect those risky plays. Though, these guys are on top of it all.
Yeah, already on the flank, managing to get past the trademark as well, and Kang's picking them off.
I mean, an absurd performance. Absolutely absurd performance. Bonus round going to be secured. I was not expecting this whatsoever. You look at the starting lineup as well. They're not playing with Life. They're playing with Smoggy in this lineup.
Yeah, a player that hasn't been playing with them, by the way. This isn't a long-time substitute. This is a new addition, but it's Kang that brings out this bonus round. Basically the only player that had a gun worth buying at all. But he's so aggressive and active. I think the percentage play in those kind of rounds is to try and get one and then drop back so you don't lose the operator and ruin your buy for round 4. But that is not the way that Kang plays. No. If you look at
he is going to push you to your limits.
Yeah, he is the most active player that we have at the event. And what I mean by that is he takes the most duels. He's the only player in the tournament that we have that by the time you get to a half, he's got 20 kills and deaths combined. He averages 12-8 at the half, and that is just absurd. Yeah. Absolutely bonkers. Of course, the question always being for those kind of players, can they keep it up on the global stage?
That's the question, isn't it?
Listen, that round has given me some decent hope that Kang is the truth here.
I mean, right now going toe-to-toe with one of our finalists at Copenhagen, PaperX.
And of course, it's early days. It's a map that nobody really knows about. But promising signs, to say the least.
A great showcase. Obviously, this being a timeout being taken by PaperX. Working out how do they want to work around this one now, because with Kang operator in his hands, honestly, the most logical sense is going to be that he's playing towards that B site, that really long sightline angle.
Yeah.
So how do you offset that? How do you play around that?
And I think that's quite difficult with PaperX's comp. You heard the desk talk about it, Mimi in particular, where she was saying there's two different approaches here. You go for the Viper comps, of which EDG have one variation. We've seen other teams, you know, or we're expecting other teams to try different types of Viper comps. Or you run the Raze Fade with the Astra. And the Raze Fade with the Astra is not very good at pushing back the Opera at B. Of course, they only have pistols this round, but that's my point exemplified there. You just don't have the utility across such an open area. And I think that this is going to mean PaperX heading through mid, through A lot in this half.
Yeah. It's a difficult map as well. There's a lot of tight corners you've got to be clearing out. Making sure that you are showing a lot of discipline when it comes to clearing out these areas.
Another little element of this area of the map too. You can see as PaperX try to pop in here, there's so many different trap plays that EDG could run. And once PaperX push down, they can still get flanked through that mid to A connector.
Pivoting, but the trademark's still up. They're going to be aware of this one, assuming it doesn't get broken, but there we go. Oh, it gets off. Okay.
That's brutal.
Yeah, that's unlucky. That. Okay, still. Kang wishes to take a bit of a fight there, even against better judgment, a bit of a push through the smoke. How long? Getting away with 3 there. And Benkai, though.
And you can already see the talent of these players. Benkai was thinking about unleashing the Nightfall. I think that would definitely have been a mistake, but for a moment thought it was winnable. I think for PaperX, it's about this next round. That's what they took the timeout for.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you can already see the talent involved. Look at Haodong here, taking the push through the smoke, finds a spray transfer, and then gets onto the third.
I have never seen a team that has more consistent spray transfers with a Vandal than Edward Gaming. Every single one of these players just feels capable of pulling out some magical moments you only see that's a rarity in a lot of other regions. But
so let's take a look. PaperX, are they able to stop the bleeding here? All of their players up towards A main. Nightfall off the rip to start. Didn't catch nobody.
Flash over the top. Nobody's not supported with it though. It just about fades away. Still Smoggy wants to take the fight. In fact, they're being backed up. Chichu with the spray down. He's grabbing two. Benkai eventually removing him from the fight, but a bit of timing. Game of cat and mouse around the smokes. Forsaken takes away Kankan, removes him from the fight, all up to Howdong, the IGL for Edward Gaming.
Howdong looking to try and spot Forsaken. Knew that Forsaken was lurking through this area of the map earlier on. Still with 3 stars to play with, and Howdong, he's able to get the spray down through the box.
It's going to be one of his targets found. It's him versus Benkai though. Stars drop down.
That's a great
back.
smoke.
Yep.
Countered though.
If you can force, but he knows where the positioning is for both of them now. The C's is going to be grabbing onto it. Howdong has no audio cues in the mix. Quick little pop into the Astral form. It's going to be the smoke popped up now. Benkai playing so far back here. That's important to the back, trying to spray through this one. He's already got half. Howdong's just going to be sticking this one, and he's got the round.
That's an unbelievable clutch from Howdong. Taking it in a straight-up fight against Forsaken, and then outplaying Benkai towards the end too. EDG are on a roll. This is so impressive. Look at that spray transfer again.
Yeah.
And something that PaperX are so good at is trading each other out in those kind of moments. You do not expect the PaperX players to trade out and be on the worst side of that. They went 3 for 3 in that situation when normally they power through teams.
That's Edward Gaming's play style.
It certainly is.
They are always ready to trade out additional firepower right behind them. Even if 2 of their players go down, they're not scared to commit bodies into the fight. It's the thing that powered them to a lot of their wins in the East Asia LCQ.
And look how much PaperX are having to focus on the A site right now. Just thinking about how their composition works, it's only Forsaken prodding towards mid, being that lurk player. Here comes Jing though with a showstopper, looking to try and clear things in.
Rocket in the mix!
What an amazing null command from Smoggy.
Yeah, completely. Just takes away the showstopper, and he still looks down the one angle at Art. Bit of a pop flash play as well, go around the corner. Might even be trying for seconds, but he bides his time. Bit of patient play now. He's managed to push back the offensive.
And EDG with a 4v3 situation.
Oh, the tether.
Information game. Just all of the info about where Devi is playing.
Look at him. Up top on the half
stuck.
wall. Devi's position is known. It has to jiggle it now. What a flick.
What is that?
Goodbye, Mind Freak. That's a slow field drop down, of course. Nerfed in the patch they were playing out of champs, but I mean, Kankang's making the agent just look absolutely unbelievable still. Punished in the end, though. Slowly walking forward. There isn't going to be a swing just there. Damage! Oh, it's done. Resurrect is online. A bit of consideration before he lets it loose, but now down to that 2v1. Still time running low. An opportunity for Howdong if he does disrupt this, but no stars to pull off the plans.
He might have an amazing timing here. Can he get there in time? No, not quite.
Puts out one. Knows the other one's at default. But it's going to be this double face from PaperX. What a difficult ask. The movement. It's a slight sidestep, a reload.
Look how well Howdong is playing with the wallbang here.
Just trying to make sure he gets those stray bullets off. If he gets even one kill. Smoke laid down, sprays it through. 9 left in the clip, but eventually shut down. And finally a round on the board here for PaperX.
Eventually able to make something happen. And the one slip up there for EDG is Kankang hunting for duels that he doesn't necessarily need to take. You take a look at the replay, they played the ult situation perfectly there. The swing from Chichu is exactly as Jing loses his showstopper, but Kankang goes for another one of those big flick up kills, misses it that time, and allowed Devi an opportunity in to get his resurrect off.
Second timeout for PaperX.
That's absurd.
In the first half.
Burning both timeouts by the time you get to round 7, I think that shows the pressure, actually.
Yeah,
the
I think scrambling potentially a little bit as well. You think about a team like Edward Gaming coming into this one. You know, no one really expects his team, you know, newcomers to the global stage. First time they're really playing against top competition, up against the finalists of Copenhagen.
Yeah, I think it bears mentioning how much bigger PaperX are as a team than anyone they've had to face so far. EDG have actually done a great job. They stomped their way through East Asia LCQ. They beat Northeption, who went out in groups at Copenhagen. That's pretty good. And they played against 4 other players in that LCQ that had been to a Masters event before. But the rest of the field was somewhat weak, somewhat untested. This, though, is a totally different ball game, and they're stepping up.
Yeah, unknown quantities across the board, isn't it? Pearl being played, but they are certainly...
The other part about that too, Brent, is that EDG haven't had very much time to even prep Pearl. The LCQ teams should be at a disadvantage on this map. They don't look like it.
It's an excellent point. Should not have had much time at all.
EDG's economy under a ton of pressure. You can see that despite being 5-1 up, that single round that PaperX have won has put EDG back onto a thrifty.
Look at these liberties, though, that are being taken with the Viper's pit drop down in A main and all the information being gained. Kangkang's pushed so deep. They know that mid is relatively compromised here.
Smoggy making sure to get rid of the horn there, allowing Haldon to stay in this tough position.
The wall bangs! That's going to be the face, though.
But here comes Kangkang. All of this delay from the rest of the team allows him to get a timing.
Just making a bit of noise. That is going to be the kill picked up. Still, PaperX are in control of this mid area. The spike was dropped down. It looks like they are starting to vacate back through mid. Still have control of it. Haven't broken the trademark just yet, but they know it's there. It's been in play for quite some time, and it's up to nobody to see if he can wrestle off a couple of shots. The angle's lost. A flick of the wrist, and Jing removed from the action. One way to punish him.
And now you get a chamber battle in mid. Forsaken with the tour de force. He reads the play from Kangkang, but can he read the second player coming from the same direction? Is there any hope here of Chichu being able to get this round on the board? Not after a bit of bulldog spam coming through the doorway. Chichu's given away his positioning.
Yeah, and Forsaken should be favored in this fight, obviously, with the tour de force in hand. Easily done.
And PaperX pick up another one.
Okay.
Clean anti-eco, despite the best efforts of Kangkang and nobody. Already, Brent, we're seeing this individual talent from EDG.
Yeah.
The flick shots have been absurd, the spray transfers already.
There's a big question for me, I think, as well, coming into this. How were Edward Gaming going to be competing against the top talent of international competition like this? They played against talented players before. They've shut down talented players, but when you're on the global stage, when you're at champs,
it all gets harder.
It gets much harder. And were they able to keep it stepping up? Are they going to still play with this confidence? The answer so far has been yes.
Once more, PaperX looking towards A. Their composition doesn't have answers for the B side of the map. You saw that with Kangkang pushing up in the prior on the thrifty. And this time he's playing in mid. He realizes PaperX are not going to walk into him. And that is just info for another Kangkang peak. Forsaken's under crazy pressure, and he has to rendezvous away.
We're being watched though by Mindfreak. Smart enough to back away, still works his way into a bit of a deeper angle there off to the side. Being swarmed by multiple players. Kangkang anticipates it. Does not have any sort of rendezvous setup, but goes for the re-peek. This guy is...
He's crazy.
Just insane. But now the util dump onto the A side. Players working their way through. The boombot, the Prowler, the Horn being broken down as well. It's going to be that 1-for-1 at the end of the day. The fight is being taken all over the place. Spike is still going to get planted now onto the A side. And Forsaken making sure that just slight angle over the wall.
This is an aim-lapse workout.
One.
You're kidding me.
Another. The bullet's just being spammed out. Bit of distraction. No time for Haldon to work his way into the back of the site. Somehow gets away with 2, but only just now is the wall being broken. Forsaken makes sure that he doesn't lose his confidence. Takes the fight, takes the swing.
And after the 5-round lead that EDG put on the board, PaperX have answered back with 3. 2 of those being gun rounds. So EDG now feel pressured themselves to take a tactical timeout. And really, it's the same kind of thing happening. PaperX are being able to get onto the A side, trade out effectively, and play post-plants with advantages. So timeout for EDG. How do they want to address this? In reality, they've actually been pretty good at adjusting their defensive setups.
Yeah.
For 5 rounds, what they were doing was working, so they had no need to shift it. Thrifty came in, Kangkang pushed B, that added a different flavor to the round. This time around, Kangkang was playing aggressively in mid off the back of nobody, and I thought that that was a good idea as well. They've identified that Forsaken is lurking through mid, and should be a target that can be punished. Forsaken, though, very intelligently playing around his rendezvous, and Mindfreak's support was not punished in the same kind of way that EDG wanted.
Exactly. Containing that mid-presence that was being showcased.
I think EDG now want to be playing aggressive on A. They tried it once. Off the back of Benkai using his Nightfall, nobody was able to get up aggressively, and Chichu got the 2K spray down. That's the kind of round that I want to see coming out from them again, actually, here. And they've got 3 players stacked up. It does look like they're going for something similar. However, this is the one time Paper Rex go B, reading it after the timeout. What a gorgeous call by Alex or Benkai.
That's the trouble. The map is so big, honestly, that when you commit this many players over towards one of the extremities, one of the main positions, they're not going to be able to help out the players who are locking down B, but it's up to Haodong. We'll see what they can do. Teleport back. It is an off-ankle play. Haodong's lucky to get the 1 there.
Forsaken with an immediate trade. And now the question for Benkai is, do we pump the brakes or do we commit to this one?
Slow orbs being sent through. Not many bullets left in the chamber of that one. And that's going to be just a quick tip-tap there of the Vandal at play. Okay, sidestep with the movement there. They're going to be smoking off the trademark, but Mindfreak hears it.
He hears everything.
Knows exactly what's occurring. Does he expect a second player? The answer's no.
And Chichu with another opportunity for a clutch. In the 1v2. Chichu is actually the player left in the clutch scenarios, the 3rd most in the tournament. He is so comfortable in these kind of spots. Wins almost 20% of them for EDG. But in this one, he's got a massive health disadvantage.
It's not exactly favoured. Snakebite sent into the back there of Elbow. Wants to try and isolate one of the fights, but this crossfire that's being set up by Paper X, that's hard to break through. Forsaken's able to take contact. There was going to be a swing there as well from Benkai, so very winnable for them. And so far, Paper X on a bit of a heater after burning both of their timeouts.
Definitely worthwhile getting those 4 on the board. EDG's aggression on A, though, didn't get spotted. If I'm Haodong thinking about how to IGL this round coming up, I'd be very tempted to go for A aggression again. Paper X are unlikely to hit B. I think that was the kind of strat that you pull out after an opponent timeout. You're going to go back to your default kind of setup now. So I want to see EDG react to this, and it looks like they're going for it again. Aggression towards A main, as Jing also gets on the line early.
Double satchel play, flash over the top. That is on a multitude of targets, but there's Viper Wall in the way. It's going to offset that aggression once more. This is going on.
Almost a bit of anti-synergy there as well, stuck by Chichu's on wall.
Kang has to respect the smoke being pulled back as well. Wasn't certain of the positioning, and no longer could hold that angle safely.
But there are 4 players here stacking for EDG on A. They know this is going to be an A commit. Paper X have just so rarely been going to B.
Yeah, it's honestly a complete sacrifice of mid-control, isn't it? They've got that Prowler's unfortunate. On the side of Paper X, we're hoping, I think, to just avoid it.
And that's continuous information at the 55-second mark that Paper X still have players towards A. If you're planning to pivot into a B hit, I don't think there'd be any reason for you to still be in this area. I think that's good info that EDG can keep 3, 4 players here. These star setups are really cool from Mindfreak.
Yeah, everything being dropped down, but not enough done before, ahead of the time, to try and burn down a bit of the Viper's fuel. So that orb is going to be blocking them up at the choke point. Late lurk there through Art.
The question is, which do EDG commit to? Do they stop the sight hit or the lurk?
Forsaken's just going to be taking a fight right to them once more. The flag is going to be shut down. It's going to be a resurrect in play. Benkai's making sure that he shuts that down, holds it down still. It's going to be the spike. Has to get planted now with 11 seconds onto the clock, and Mindfreak was capable as well of watching just a deeper position that was being pushed up on.
Vice position given away, and Kang with the trade early.
Lovely shot as well, positioning gained from the Haunt.
And Jing does not let him get away with anything. Paper X have tied it up after being down 5 rounds in a row. This comeback has been nothing short of excellent, and exactly what you would expect from a team as quality as Paper X. Not allowing things to rattle them whatsoever, and halting the momentum of a team that... I mean, when we... When we had heard interviews with EDG coming into this, they talked about the fact that they would probably be nervous in this first game. Getting onto a 5-round win streak is massive for them. And now, some of that momentum taken away.
Full stars in play. Oh, it's an untire. Cluster of bodies are going to be met at the top side of B here. You can feel the utility just being tossed out to the side. Smoggy's in a world of hurt right now. Nate dropped down to his feet, vulnerable on top of it, but nobody still with the Marshall in his hands, holding for a bit of a wide swing on top of it. This is particularly dangerous now.
All of these rounds end up coming down to the wire.
Right inside of the smoke.
With a Marshall.
I mean, up close. Forsaken is low enough now, and the body shot might be enough to do it. No. Eventually finds his target. But a gun has been acquired. Chichu working his way out the back, and this guy, he is a clutcher. He's known for it. Spike planted. Mindfree tries to take the fight as well. Down to that 1v1.
Chichu has the Viper's Pit to work with here too. Worried about Forsaken peeking in from that back elbow position. There goes the pit. How does Forsaken respond to this one? You want to try and get in the pit early if possible.
He has to, but just far too slow. And that's going to be the 6th round here for Edward Gaming. Chichu just too consistent in the clutch. Great decision making as well to isolate the angles of which a fight could be taken with the Viper's volleys coming out into elbow.
Last round before the switch.
Chichu is in these positions so often. The people left in clutches the most are Chichu and then Shao, Scary, you know, like big names of the clutches. And Chichu has been good for it domestically, within China, within East Asia. That is the momentum you need to give you some hope heading into the final round, into the next half. Can EDG put a 7-5 together here?
It's a great Red Bull clutch to start things for them.
Both chambers with the tour de force. It looks like PaperX might be faking a bit of B control right now. The spike's still in top mid. I don't think this is going to be a commitment over towards B. The idea just being to pull the EDG players around. Still 3 of them looking to anchor A, not biting on it just yet.
Still that presence from PaperX as well, as they're just poking and prodding into the mid area, hoping for players to be working their way into their line of sight angles.
Face your fear!
Made an attempt, okay, well, Nightfall's going to be coming through. That does force out the null command.
And there's still enough time here to just cancel.
Yeah, if they wait this out, Jing is going to have the showstopper, but this is an important fight to take. Kang! You got to be kidding. Tour de force, players dropping like flies, and they know that the position is contained. Finally, no suppression at play. A bit of an exchange there. Bullet for the rocket. It is that 1-for-1. Mindfreak. Oh, he's got a lot to do. Okay.
Mindfreak now in a 1v1 against Haodong. The IGL, is he going to be able to pull out a clutch here?
1 round and a half.
Mindfreak was so incredible at Copenhagen. Is he able to pull out magic again?
Stars available that obviously does not want to go into astral form. Haodong does have his own ult, and that's going to be the wall dropped. Hopefully isolating a couple of fights, but it is mind games on mind games right now between both of these players. How do they want to take it?
You do not want to be playing mind games against Mindfreak.
No. Star as well as in position. There's going to be a pull for Mindfreak.
The star on the spike indicates an A-main positioning here, I think, for the post plan. But Haodong is still looking towards Secret. He's got the right read if only he commits.
And now onto the spike. It is the wrong read. Mindfreak has played that impeccably. 4 kills in the round for him to finalize this half. And it's evened up for Edward Gaming and PaperX. Absolutely outlandish stuff that we've witnessed here in a Red Bull clutch.
Yeah, this play is amazing and just gets PaperX right back into it for even. What a shot. What a play.
Perfect movement.
And Mindfreak managing to get the clutch out the end there.
Mentality break dance, mentality break.
These players. You can feel how much it means for the PaperX. The watch party back in Singapore. Huge scenes all around. That's going to do it for the first half. Let's send it down to the analyst desk to break down all the action thus far.
Thank you very much, Bren and Saisha. I'm back here with Mimi and Achilleos. None of us are disappointed, are we?
It's everything I could have wanted and more. Perfectly tied up at a 6-6 here at the end of it. It's just been action-packed the whole way throughout. Incredible clutches coming through as well. I'm just beside myself with happiness. This is great.
I want to talk about Kung because we didn't really get to focus on him too much.